I think Malong pushed many times to Cohen's backhand, and then I think he had some problem, and then at 2-1, 10-9, I think he went for a push. He saw Cohen pivot, and then he goes for shot in forehand, and then Cohen goes up, and then he gives forehand long.
What? He just twice.
He did like 3 actions in one ball. I don't understand. And then I look at Cohen, and he look at me, and
Okay, welcome back to the podcast, guys. We're here at UTT Season 6, and we've got with us an awesome guest from Dabang Delhi, Singapore player Izaac Quek. Welcome, Izaac.
hi everyone.
We're very, very glad to have you. Obviously, we're going to talk about your experience with UTT here. And probably first off, you've been playing against some amazing players. So you've played Kanak twice, Thiago Apollonia, Alvaro Robles, the new kid on the block as well, Encore. Just talk, how have you found kind of playing that level of quality in UTT?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I knew coming into UTT there would be a very wide variety of players. Of course, best players in the world like Kanak, Alvaro, and then also there are like Indian players who are coming up, and of course I've played against them before, so I know that they are really, really strong. So having to play a wide variety of players like Ankur, who is same age as me, so we played I think already 2-3 times, so we know each other well. And then also to play Alvaro and Kanak, who I played for the first time, but I know and I watched them play since young. So I think that having this good opportunity to play against such a high level tournament and high level league, especially having only 3 sets, is very, very different from any WTT tournament.
Yeah, the format is really cool, and actually watching it is very engaging. You get the golden point, and it's best of 3. And also, if you go 2-0 down, even winning that extra game is actually very important for the team, which makes it really cool from the viewer point of view.
Yeah.
How different is it? How different is it playing 3 sets? Like, you have to start really fast, or?
Yeah, I think the approach before coming into the game definitely has to be different, because normally in the WTT match you want to get 3 sets, but for this format, I think you have to come in and take every set as a best of 1, because I think every set counts. So even if you lose the first set, you definitely cannot think about it, and you have to carry on with the second set, then take it to the third set. Even if it's 1-1, you cannot take it as a decider. I think even winning 2-1 or losing 2-1, it's only 1 set difference. So I think even if you're losing 2-0, that 1 set is really, really important for the team and also for the whole format.
Yeah, because you look at the match last night, you're obviously involved in the semi-final. I mean, it was 8-7 in the end. So it's obvious, like every set is key.
So close. That was a really good semi-final. Of course, it didn't go your way, but I mean, it was great for the spectators. Really close match. Could have gone either way.
Yeah, especially the last match when Srija played against Dia.
That was crazy.
I was on the bench. I was feeling my heart was going very fast.
Yeah.
It was 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, and we couldn't watch on the bench.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you find it a lot harder watching than playing, or do you get more nervous playing?
No, I definitely get more nervous watching.
Yeah, watching is really tough, right?
Yeah.
Strange, isn't it? But I think almost all table tennis players would say like they'd much rather be playing than watching.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, part of each team, like we don't see the behind the scenes where you're with the team managers and physios and stuff. But what is that experience like? Because normally when you go to a tournament, maybe you're on your own or with the Singapore team and stuff. But here they have like the franchise of each teams. They have such a big team around you, and it's just really cool, almost like a Formula 1 team,
Yeah.
And it's very professional. Like even for us, we're like, okay, we film for 1 minute with a player. Then we have to confirm it with the manager. It's really cool setup and professional.
Playing in this UTT, you get to team up against a lot of foreign players. Usually they are your opponents in WTT tournaments. So I think it's really interesting in how we only have a short span of 3 weeks time, but we have to know each other well. We have to get the chemistry in the mixed doubles, and having time outside of table tennis and also to spend time with them is really a good experience. And I think they have very professional and very high class outside of table tennis. Like they have physios, they have masseurs, they have team managers. So every team has a team manager. Also, our team has a photographer. So I think we have like everything prepared. So I think it's really professional. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Imagine like Man City going, oh, yeah, we have a photographer. It shows how like for table tennis, like it's growing, and even having a photographer on the team is a kind of a big thing. Sounds ridiculous, right?
No, but that's
it
the
shows
levels
it's
you want
growing.
table tennis to
No,
get
it is.
to,
It needs
right?
to go that. It has to go that direction, right? Social media, the way the world's going, and it's great. Like having that.
I mean, even from our experience here, like from between the hotel and to the venue, like there's always someone you can just text, okay, I need a car, I need a transport now. They're here in like 2 minutes, they drive you there. Like it's so professional. It's great.
We needed a carpenter earlier, right, to fix this table we're on. That's why we delayed the podcast, right? Because I thought, oh, no problem. I have a carpenter here. He'll come now. We're literally 1 minute later.
He's
a guy
here
comes in.
screwing the table together.
He had a carpenter in a minute. Amazing. So yeah.
It is fantastic. I just want to go back to the teams because you're right about like the team bond. It's really noticeable that every team screams and shouts for every point. There's great virals of like Maria on your team or Adriana pulling all these faces at like big matches. That's something that really comes across. Going back to Shrija and Dia, there was a bit where I was looking down and you were just stood there like this and Safian couldn't look. It was like crazy. Like the tension, the drama, those moments. We almost got to a golden point. The final set, the final point, it almost came down to that, which is just nuts. But talk to me a little bit about the golden point, because that's really unique. How do you find that?
I think the golden point totally changes everything, especially when you go on the coin toss. You don't know whether to choose the service or the receive, because if you take service, you serve at 10-10. If you take receive, you receive at 10-10. So normally in the game, you want to take service at 9-9 because
you get two,
you get two services. But now you're deciding if you want service or receive, because at 10-10 having a service is a very, very big advantage.
True.
So I think it changes a lot, because I think Kanak, he had amazing scores in Golden Point. I think he won all his Golden Points, and I think 4 or 5 sets, especially 3 against Kirill. I think it was 3-0, but 3 in Golden Point.
Wow.
I think it's really important to get the Golden Point, because especially if it's 1-1, it's 10-10 and it's only one point. It's so much different from normal tournaments.
It's probably quite good practice though for like those intense moments in, the other events where it's always juice. It's going to sharpen up your intensity at that moment. You know it's only 1 point, right? So it's going to probably be a good experience taking forward into other events, right? To help you.
That's actually a good point. It might actually improve your mental ability when you play best of 7 matches, because you're having to get so focused in on best of 3.
What's been like your most unexpected or surprising thing about India or the league, that you weren't kind of expecting?
I've watched past videos of UTT matches, and I know that like...
Sorry. Dan's dying. We'll let him go.
There's water in the suitcase, Dan. There's water in the suitcase.
I swallowed that water wrong.
This will go in the blooper reel. What's been the most unexpected or surprising thing you found since you've been here in India?
I think I've watched past videos of UTT matches. I know that it's always a lot of noise. You have, the replays when you play. But, I didn't know about the rule that you only can take a tower at 5 points.
We were talking about this.
And then if you have a good point, or if they want to replay the shot, you have to wait for the replay to finish before starting. So I think like even those small pauses and also different type of tower breaks, it's, even though it's a very small thing, but I think it changes a lot in the match. I think I played against Kanak in the first match, and at 4-2 both of us went to the tower, and then he said, no, we have to go back. And then at 5 points, the umpire said Indian only timeout, and then Kanak said no timeout. And then I was like, wait, there's no timeout. And then we look at each other and it's just the break, So it's a lot of difference, I think, especially playing the first match, getting into the rhythm, getting into how to play in this, unusual format. So I think that part is actually a lot different.
Yeah, especially with table tennis, like as a sport, it's a very like repetition sport. So you with all your shots, you do them hundreds of thousands of times, and it's the same with like your routines in a match, like 6 points, okay, towel, and then it's strange. Like also not having an actual timeout where you can call yourself is quite different, right? Because the break of play in a match, or when the tactics are not working, it can be quite an important thing, right? So you almost have to learn to like really switch on and have to adapt a lot more during the sets, because you can't go to the corner.
There was a moment last night that just sparked a memory where you were playing Kanak, and because there's no ball boys here, right? So there's balls on the court and the umpire will throw you. There was you'd lost a couple of points, and Quek was like, "Oh, there's a ball behind you," and you just went over to it and you really gently rolled it with your foot. I was thinking, if that was me, I would have punted that thing like I was Cristiano Ronaldo into the crowd in rage. It just made me laugh. I was like, "Oh, Isaac's so polite. Even now, in like a losing situation, he's just very gentle with it."
Yeah. I was also going to bring it back to someone we mentioned earlier at the start who said Anker's the same age as you, right? And we took him on in a challenge match the other day in the UTT court, and I was going to say he's quite well known for his serves.
Yeah.
How do you find getting on against his serves? Because a lot of people struggle with it and find it tough.
I played with him I think 2 or 3 times now, and I've always played against. It was in the Singapore Youth Smash, so also it's only first to 7 points. It's also an unusual format, and then if it's 6-6, it's just golden point also.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I played in 2 times, and 2 of the times are in unusual format. So I remember at 2-2, 6-6, he had service. I received very very good, and then he make high ball, and then it comes edge, and then I lost 7-6. And then I was just thinking about this, but usually I have quite a bit of a problem with his service, especially because he's so good in the open game. He's very stable, especially in his backhand, and in his forehand he doesn't make any mistakes. So I think with this service he opens up the game much more. You cannot give a high quality shot and then the rally comes. I think for me the real threat comes in his open game, because when he serves, of course at this high level you miss it 2 or 3 times, but what causes you to miss it more is definitely
you're worried about the next shot.
I'm worried about the threat that he comes after. So especially at 1-1, 10-10 when I had him against him in the UTT, it was his service, and then I tried to go for a killer shot because I don't want to play in the open rally. Then that's when I make the mistake, and everything comes after. So I think of course his game with his service matches really well, and I definitely have a lot of respect for him, and we know each other well, so we are good friends. Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. What's one specific skill that you've been training on recently that you're trying to improve?
For me, I think definitely would be my in the open game, because I've played doubles, and I think me and Koen Pang from Singapore, we have a strong doubles combination, and we've been training that. So I think my short balls and short game has been improving quite a lot, especially because of the doubles. Then it shows in my singles games. So I think a lot of the time, I think if I want to beat a higher ranked opponent, or if I want to beat the top 30, top 20 in the world, I think definitely you have to beat them in the open game, because especially now table tennis, it's growing as a sport, and I think a lot of the times you get just a push along, and then they just play with you. And then there's nothing you can do, how much you practice your service, how much you practice your receives, the ball just comes back. So I think that, after all, it just comes to who is the better player overall. So I think I've been trying to improve on that game.
Yeah, it's really interesting because probably 10 years ago, it would have been the other way. It's like who got the first attack was so important in like Ru Sing-min era, or Marlin. If you can get that first ball in strong, then it's tough. But now there's a lot more rallies, a lot more counter attack. It's hard to win a point now. You don't get any spin up and block out. Even the lower ranked players, they can all rally.
Yes, definitely.
It's so tough.
What's been your kind of favorite off the table moment this season in UTT?
I would say having time to spend with my team. I think having Julian as the coach, I think you have him here later.
Yeah, he's going to join us after this. Yeah,
he's really a good personality, and he tries to bond us as a team. I think we had 2 or 3 days off before the last match in our regular season game. We went to the mall beside, and we had time to relax. I think it was really nice, to spend time with the team. I thought, coming to the tournament, I know it's a team game, but after all, I'm coming as Singaporean by myself. But, having him trying to bond the team together, I think was really nice and I had a really, really nice time because of him and because of my team. So I think having the time to spend with them, laugh, I think even yesterday, even when we lost the semi-finals, of course, we were sad, but when we came back to the hotel, we were laughing, we were, having jokes. So I think, the vibes were really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I bet it's quite interesting having like a perspective from a different coach as well, that you're obviously not used to having Julian there. Is there anything like that he sort of helped with your game or kind of tried to talk to you about? It's quite interesting to have someone different there.
Yeah, I think definitely, playing with a different coach is, I think, not many times I have this opportunity, maybe because I play in the French league, so maybe only in the French league, but, having, coming here 3 weeks, everyone is new, because when I'm in the French league, only I'm the new, sort of the new player, so they already know each other well. But coming here, everyone is new to everyone, and then he comes and he tells a different perspective to the game, and we do talk about it sometimes. And after all, my mistakes or my weaknesses are still spot on by the coaches, and it's around the same, because I think all the coaches are at a really high level, so they can spot mistakes easily, and I still get the same things back again. So I think but having him different perspective, I think it will open up my mind, and maybe I will listen to him, and then I realize more of my mistakes, so it's good.
Yeah, we're very excited to have him on the podcast later. We were watching a multi-ball session that you guys were all doing, you, Safi, and Maria, and it just looked so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, he was joking around. There was a couple of balls where he was like no look blocking past you guys, and that is really, really important. If you could sign any player in the world to play alongside for Dabang Delhi, who would it be? Unlimited transfer budget.
I would definitely say Malong. Yeah, because since young I've been watching Malong, the Malong time when he literally almost never lost a match. I think that I was supporting him since then, and I think he's my favorite player to watch. So definitely, I want to know how it's like being his teammate.
What's crazy about Marlon is, with some players like Truls, for example, like you can see, okay, he's got something very different. He's very creative, can be difficult to play. But with Marlon, he looks so simple. And it's like, okay, everything's world class, but it doesn't look complicated what he's doing. Everything's good technique, but what is it that you think that makes Marlon so good? Because it looks just simple.
When I've been watching, I watched almost all of his big matches, since young, and I definitely know his strength, that like his forehand, perfect technique, I think best forehand ever, and then his control, his shot game is really in the next level. But there was actually a very funny story that I played with him one time in doubles, okay, and then we were like, okay, it was him and Ling Gaoyuan and me and Cohen. We were 2-1, I think 6-5 up.
Wow.
In Taiyuan WTT. So we were like, wow, I was almost going to beat Malong, And then they took a timeout at 6-5, and then we come back, and then we had all of our strategies were going. Suddenly, Cohen was just making this banana all the time when Malong serves, and Ling Gaoyuan was having problem. He comes back with this service. I don't know how short it was to the net. Like, it's unbelievable control. There's no chance Cohen could make the flick, but it was like high pressure moment. They were losing 2-1, 6-5. They could, we were playing unbelievable shots, very high quality. And then Ling Gaoyuan was, not performing so well. I think even in front of China, there were a lot of people watching. But then he comes back with this service, and then after I was looking at Cohen, it's like, oh, how can he make this? Like, it's really unbelievable. It looks like it comes very normal, but when it comes to your table, it was so short, close to the net, so short, so much spin. And then we were like, okay, it's okay. No, it's Malong. Okay, we continue, And then, we played with him also one more time in Doha, in doubles. So it was him and Wan Chuchin. It was, I think, 2-0, 10-9 for them. And then we were talking about it. And then I think Malong pushed many times to Cohen's backhand. And then I think he had some problem. And then at 2-1, 10-9, I think he went for a push. He saw Cohen pivot, and then he goes for shot in forehand, and then Cohen goes up, and then he gives forehand long.
What? So you just twice?
He did like 3 actions in one ball. I don't understand. And then I look at Cohen, and he looked at me, and
you're like, huh?
We were stunned, and then we were like, there was no chance I would touch a ball. But really, this control, like I saw him going for a push, and then I saw him change the forehand shot, and then he goes for forehand long.
That's insane.
Yeah, and then we were like, then playing against him, you feel the type of level he's on, and really these small details, everything. I think it just comes from him just being unbelievable and incredible player. Yeah.
Awesome.
This podcast always gets into Marlon.
Yeah, somehow is Marlon.
we could do a podcast anywhere in the world and Marlon is getting a mention.
That's how popular he is, I think, right?
Can I ask, what do you think is the biggest thing that the fans don't quite understand or realize about table tennis?
I would say, some of the shots look really easy, but I think the spin just changes everything. You would say, like, sometimes a short and high ball. Many people say, why are you missing it? But then it's so much downspin, and in a high pressure moment like that, it looks easy, but it's really, really difficult. So I think this type of shots are, changes the view of table tennis. If you play table tennis versus you just watch table tennis, it's much different to.
On every lobbing rally on Instagram, it's always, why didn't he drop shot it?
It's if you play table tennis, but I can understand it. If you're not a real table tennis fan, then it's hard to understand.
Me and Dan were thinking about questions yesterday, and we went, I wonder who Izaac would say gave him the worst beating of all time. Because we play, obviously we're not your level, but you play a player and you're like, they are so much better than me. I have no idea. I know you spoke about Marlon.
Just going to say Marlon.
Yeah. If it wasn't Marlon, who else that you've played where you're like, wow, maybe they're just having a really good day?
I think it would be Wang Chuxin, because I played in the Singapore Smash, 2023, when I beat Kamal, and then after I beat Mateus Falk, then I played Wang Chuxin. So I was in my top form, and then I think before the game, Gowning, my coach, he just told me, you have nothing to lose. You're playing really well, so maybe you have a chance, So coming to the game, I was like, okay, maybe just take one set, maybe I have a chance. And then it comes into the game, because I'm sure that after me beating Mateus Falk and reaching the round 16, I could see the level of intensity he brought into the game. He didn't want to lose any point easily to me, so he was like his hand was very tight, and then he didn't want to lose any point. And then I think I got only 11-7, I think, in one of the games, but I played amazing. There were long rally shots, but I could feel like, wow, he's really just a different level. I came into the game, I said maybe I had a chance, but then when he brings his level into the game, it's really so much different. And even if he doesn't give you any easy shots, this is really difficult to even get 1 or 2 points against him.
100%, yeah. Well, look, Izaac, thanks so much for your time. We're glad you've enjoyed UTT Season 6 as much as us.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you again soon, another UTT or another tournament somewhere soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me here.
Guys, don't forget to head over to the UTT YouTube channel and obviously subscribe to TTDCast for more podcasts from UTT Season 6. We'll see you guys all soon.